G'day viewers. You might have noticed I was playing a 12-bar blues in the key of A using all the positions of the pentatonic scale. Now for a lot of guitarists, including me, have struggled over the years to link all 5 scales together. It's always been position number 1 that's been the easiest one to get to. Position number 1 exists on the 5th fret. And it's easy to find because it looks like an A bar chord. Your index finger lays down and all the notes are in that finger. And pattern number 1 looks like this. We've all been playing that pattern for years, all our life, but we try to venture into pattern 2, 3 and 4 and become a bit lost there on the fretboard. So I'm going to discuss how we can learn all 5 patterns in a very easy technique. The first thing you've actually got to do is learn all the patterns anyway. There's no other way around that. You have to learn the patterns and memorise them. And it doesn't matter where you play them on the fretboard. Just pick any fret and play all the 5 patterns there. So for example, pattern 1 and pattern 2. Pattern 3 is the hard one. It stretches over 5 frets. Pattern 4 is a little bit easier because it looks a little bit like pattern 1. And pattern 5 has a bit of symmetry to it, so it's not too hard to learn either. So once you've learned all those patterns, and you're quite confident with them, the next thing is to start linking them together. First pattern you'll work on is pattern 1. It's the one we all know, and it's the easiest one. You can play it there, on the 5th fret, or you can play it an octave higher like we do. Getting into pattern 2 isn't too hard. The easiest way to get to pattern 2 is to slide into it. It's a common way to get there. So you slide in on the 3rd string on the 7th fret. You slide up to the 9th. Once you get there, you can play along in pattern 2. You slide back to pattern 1. You can slide down into pattern 5. And you can slide back up into pattern 1 easily as well. That's pretty straightforward eventually. Most people can play pattern 1 and 2 and a little bit of 5, get in there. But it gets a bit confusing when you get to pattern 3 and 4 as you go up the neck. Now I found an easy way to learn these patterns. The next pattern you have to learn in its spot, if you're in the key of A, is pattern 4. Reason being, okay, pattern 1, I call it the home chord, the home pattern, pattern 1. You can see it anywhere on the neck. You can be soloing up here. You glance down and you see the bar chord of A, and you know that's where your pattern is. There is another shape to the A bar chord, and as we know, it's in this format, this shape here. That's a D bar chord. But the other A bar chord exists up on the 12th fret. And we know all these bar chords on the guitar. We've been playing them all our life. We've been playing these chords well before we've been playing pentatonic scales. We know every chord on the neck. We know that's C and D and E in that shape. And we know all of the chords in the other shape. So there really is only 2 well-known shapes of bar chords on the guitar neck. And that's why we know pentatonic scale number 1 very well, because of the shape of that chord. Now what we want to do is when we find the other shape of A bar chord in that shape, it's up on the 12th fret. And luckily, pentatonic pattern number 4 exists right underneath that bar chord. So you only have to find the A bar chord and you're straight into A pentatonic, position number 4. You lay all your 4 fingers down on the 4 frets and all those, and that's where your position number 4 exists, starting on the pinky on the 15th fret. So pentatonic shape pattern number 4 in A looks like this. So it's just as easy to solo in pattern number 4 as it is in pattern number 1, once you've learnt the pattern. No harder than pattern number 1. But pattern 2, it is a little bit difficult to find pattern 2. Jumping from 4 to 2 is not easy because there's no A bar chord in any shape that exists around pattern 2. That's why we have trouble finding some of the other patterns. And pattern 5, it's hard to find that pattern as well because there's no reference chord to tell us where to start. So we're relying on these 2 homes to find the other patterns. So home 1, pattern 1, once you've got that, you know that pattern number 5 is the pattern below the home. And pattern number 2, it's the one above the home. So it's easier to learn it that way. Learn the pattern either side of pattern 1. Same with pattern 4. When you're in pattern 4, it's easy to go down to pattern 3, the hard pattern. So once you've found the A chord, your index finger acts as a reference point. So you can see your pentatonic 4 pattern easily. You can also see pentatonic pattern 3 because it starts also on this index finger on the 12th fret and looks like this. So you can improvise in those 2 patterns because you have a reference point to look at. Okay, so pattern 5 is the one above your reference point. It's the one above pattern 4. Lay your fingers down with your pinky. Pattern 5 starts 2 frets above your little pinky. And that's pattern 5. So you've got 3 patterns up in this home position, and you've got 3 patterns in this home position. That's your home 1. That's your home 2. And all of a sudden, all the patterns, those 2 homes, they join together. Eventually, after you've been playing for a while, those 2 homes join together and you can actually get to pattern 3. You can get to it. Pattern 2. And I was in pattern 3 then. I can see the home, the A chord, so I can go into pattern 4 without being lost. I'm in home, little finger straight up to pattern 5. I can see the octave coming as well on the 17th fret for the A, so that's easy to find anyway because it's an octave from pattern 1. And you can jump straight back to pattern 1 because we're so familiar with it. I'll play another song. Maybe I'll play in G. So I got my G, pattern 1. There's my other G up on the 10th fret. I know that's pattern 4. So with those 2 reference points, I should be able to play every pentatonic scale in the key of G. So let's give that a go. Well, there you go. That was in the key of G, and I got through the patterns. I'm not the best guitarist, but I'm not claiming to be that. This video is all about how to learn these patterns and link them together in the pentatonic scale. Not the blues pentatonic, that's a little bit different. There are other scales you can play over a 12-bar blues, but we won't go there today. This is purely about how to learn all these 5 patterns which have plagued guitarists for such a long time. And I mean, you can play in the key of B flat. There's your B flat. Position 1. There's your B flat up there as well. That's your other home position, which is pentatonic pattern 4. You've also got home 2 exists down here. You've got the B flat down here. So you got a home down there too. You play down there, so B flat's no harder. No key is any harder than any other key, because if you know where your bar chords are, you can play in any key. So I hope that helped, and give me some feedback. Let me know. Give me either a thumb up or a thumb down on what you think I've discovered about the little clue there when you're playing pentatonic scales. I'm happy for a bit of criticism, but I'll finish up with one more song. I'll play in a different key. Let me see how I go in the key of C.